friends? How are you guys doing today? I hope you're all having a great day. I know I am because I get to sit here and talk to you guys about some movies for a little while, so that always makes my day great. Guys, today we're talking about a movie from 2025 directed by Mr. Mel Gibson himself. This is Flight Risk. Guys, before we get started, you know the drill. Hit that like and subscribe button. Flight Risk, starring Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Dockery, and Topher Grace. This is just a craptastic film. This is what happened to Mel Gibson. We go from Passion of the Christ to Flight Risk. This is just, or Apocalypto even, to this. I mean, Mel Gibson, he's made some bangers in his time, but this was not one of them, guys. I'm talking about terrible acting. Mark Wahlberg, they should have just had him be a Bostonian or whatever he is and just use his normal voice, because him trying to do this fake Southern accent, ridiculous. Stop that. You sound ridiculous. You sound stupid. Don't do it. So, we got that. Then we've got Topher Grace being the, I was thinking he was going to be something along the lines of his character in Predators, right? Because he's the witness. This whole film is about a cop trying to get a witness into witness protection, and she's on a little Cessna jet. So Topher Grace is our witness, and he, he's mild and timid and kind of ridiculous in his, ambiguity. I say ambiguity. He's just he's so sarcastic, but also kind of a wiener. He don't want to get into conflict, but yet he antagonizes. So his character, I thought, was perhaps going to be something like his character in Predators, where he plays this, I'm timid and weak, and then he, really is just a psychopath. But that was not the case. He was just an annoying character. And then we have, again, Mark Wahlberg. We got Michelle Dockery, who's not great at her job, so she probably shouldn't keep it. And then let's talk about our setting, right? She's trying to get Topher Grace to witness protection on a little Cessna plane, a little prop plane, single engine, right? This ain't no private jet. It's not spacious, in other words, right? But yet, we have a holding area in the back of this airplane that is large enough to keep someone in, a person. I am sitting there watching this, and now they have their initial confrontation where she, eventually, they subdue Mark and they tie him up, but then it's just coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. It's like that doesn't happen that way. Also, if you're only like 4 feet behind someone and you're trying to pick something up and you keep dropping it and it makes a loud clink-clank sound, they're going to hear it. They're going to hear it. Even if they're talking over an engine, they're still going to hear that. There were just too many instances of things happening for the sake of them happening to forward the movie and not intelligently happening. If it was written in there where it was just like it made sense, then sure, cool, great plot device. But if you're just putting it in there to just have something happen so that you can write more of the story, that's lazy. Don't do it. Stop it. And that feels like that's what all this movie was them just writing one coincidence after another to have it progress. I had a friend of mine tell me it felt like a 90s film. Perhaps. To me, it felt like an amateur film by a great director. That's what it felt like. It felt like he was just doing this for a paycheck. There's no soul. There's no heart. Terrible acting. We have situations that are avoidable and if you use common sense, should be avoidable. And we're talking about a police officer, a cop, a federal agent who is supposed to be, top of the class. I'm doing the, but she's making all these mistakes, and then she's, getting tied up in ridiculous situations that she could have avoided if she would have just done something else to begin with. There was too much that just happened to happen, and I did not appreciate that. That felt like an insult to me as a viewer. Was like the story that you told me was spoon fed to me, but it was like caca. It was like a chocolate pudding poo-poo pie, and you were just like, here you go. eat this. And it just wasn't a great film. And it's shame on Mel Gibson for even taking part in this if he wasn't going to put his all into it. Shame on Mark Wahlberg for being an insulting Southern accent, for trying to do this character in such a... He's trying to be too much like Jack Nicholson. He's trying to be too much like Nicolas Cage, and it comes off as overacting and stupid. It comes off as him looking like an idiot and not like a character. And that is more, or I say more, that's not what I expect from Mark Wahlberg. I expect better. I expect him to do better because I know he's a fantastic actor. I've seen his work, and it is great in other movies. This was just... I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, but whatever it was, he failed at it miserably. And I don't want to see him ever do it again. I don't ever want to see this film again because it was stupid and it wasn't worth my time. And I'm a little perturbed at myself for renting it. I should have just listened to the consensus of everyone else and waited for it on a streamer. But no, I said, you know what? Let me just rent this. Let me toss a little coin their way. No, I don't like it, and I wished I wouldn't have. Shame on me for renting it because it wasn't worth it. It was a waste of my money, and it's a waste of your money. Don't waste your time on it. Don't waste your mental faculties on trying to watch it. Don't waste the air you breathe on that. Go outside and jog and waste your air that way, because at least that way you're getting healthy. All you're doing watching this is having your brains rot out and fall out your nose. It is a terrible film. Don't recommend it, and shame on everyone involved. That's it for Flight Risk, guys. Thank you so much for hanging around and talking about it with me for a little bit, guys, and I appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. I'm going to keep making them as long as you keep watching them, my friends. Peace out. God bless you. See you soon.